Top 10 movie jerks who got what they deserved. This past weekend's San Andreas added yet another classic movie D-bag to the roster in the form of Ioan Gruffud's Daniel. He's everything your average moviegoer loves to hate. He's uber rich, he's building San Francisco's tallest skyscraper, which, in an earthquake movie, automatically makes it an oblivious dummy, and he flaunts his extravagance, like with his private jet. But it all works out in the public's favor, as he gets what he deserves in the end. That's the part that makes him a character you love to see either humiliated or oft, tragically and karmically. And there are plenty more where he came from. Let's hear it for all those actors and actresses who played totally jerks / assholes / jackasses / blemishes on society. We can go on to make the good guys be even more likable and to bring us all together to hate on them. So don't forget to watch today's video to the very end to see the top 10 movie jerks who got what they deserved. Number 10. Dennis Nedry, Jurassic Park. Money corrupts and breeds total douchebags. When Dennis Nedry, Wayne Knight, falls victim to some financial problems, he agrees to use his position at the park to steal dinosaur DNA and smuggle it off the island. He plants a virus in the computer system to cause a diversion, but that leads to the dinos getting loose from their cages and wreaking havoc. When Nedry's car breaks down in a torrential storm and he comes face to face with shrieking death, it's an appropriate outcome for an aggravating character. Number 8. Dr. Jonas Miller, Wister. You never root for the corporate-funded, privileged meteorologist over the underdog. It just doesn't happen, especially when the former is trying to claim credit for something he didn't fully invent. So when Joe Thornton races against Dr. Jonas Miller, Carrie Elwes, to launch their technology into the eye of a vicious tornado, we don't shed a tear for the latter storm chaser when his vehicle is sucked into a vortex and never seen from again. Number 7. Walter Peck, Ghostbusters. We all know a Walter Peck, William Atherton type. Someone who thinks he or she knows everything and isn't willing to admit fault. That's what happens when Peck, the city's health inspector, tries to shut down the Ghostbusters' ghostly containment field. He's convinced they are secretly hiding some harmful substances, and, in his ignorance, unleashes all the poltergeists the Ghostbusters have busted. When faced with his poor decisions in front of the governor, he's made a fool, and later on, he's coated in melted marshmallow upon the Stay Puft Man's demise. Number 6. Kaladin Hockley, Titanic. Kaladin, Billy Zane, possesses all the worst qualities of mankind. He's short-tempered, jealous, elitist, smarmy, and a wife-beater. It's no wonder Rose, Kate Winslet, almost instantly falls for another man. Literally, anyone else on the Titanic would be a better match for her than Cal. After smacking Rose across the face, mouthing off about the poor, and going after her and Jack, Leonardo DiCaprio, with a gun out of jealousy, we learn that Cal eventually ends up committing suicide. It's a long wait for a jerk's payoff, but it's good enough for this list. Number 5. And manipulative young girl. She has very rich parents and lives in a mansion. Verica's affluent parents treat her like a princess and give her anything she wants, no matter how ridiculous the price. She is also shook. She is described as the daughter of rich parents and the heiress to the Saul fortune. Because of her spoiledness, Verica has no regard for her parents' fortune and has been led to a belief that makes her take everything for granted. During the Oompa Loompa song, especially the 1971 version, attitude is due to bad parenting. This leads her father to rethink his parenting tactics, and by the time they leave the factory, he puts his foot down and refuses to get her a great glass elevator, even if she wants it. But I want an Oompa Loompa now. These words are like dry, brittle nails sliding down an untouched chalkboard. In other words, unbearable. Verica Salt is still the most spoiled little brat to appear on the big screen. But after whining to her father about how she wants a golden egg-laying goose of her very own, Felicia. Number 4. Hannibal Chow, Pacific Rim. The man known as Hannibal Chow has been involved in black marketeering since before the emergence of the kaiju in 2013. He smuggled exotic animals, and his connections to organized crime in Asia, Russia, and Eastern Europe ties him to drug and weapons smuggling. During the earliest tenure of the kaiju war, Chow is officially contracted by the Pan-Pacific Defense Corps to assist in the recovery of kaiju remains in exchange for profits. However, in 2021, the Defense Corps ended their affiliation with the dealer. When the apocalypse by kaiju invasion hits, there's always one guy profiting off of the mess, and in Pacific Rim, that's Hannibal Chow. The character is portrayed brilliantly by Guillermo del Toro's longtime buddy Ron Perlman, but perhaps too brilliantly. All we want to see happen to him is for one of those gargantuan beasties to swoop in and swallow him whole. And that's what happens, minus the swooping. Stay through the end credits, however, to learn Chow's ultimate fate. Number 3. Percy Wetmore. The Green Mile. Percy Wetmore is the central antagonist in the 1996 novel The Green Mile by Stephen King and its 1999 film adaptation of the same name. He was portrayed by Doug Hutchison, who also portrayed Pete Williard in A Time to Kill and Eugene Toombs in The X-Files. There's a special place in hell for Percy Wetmore, Doug Hutchison. The man who came to guard the death row inmates through nepotism takes a sadistic pleasure in torturing his charges. He even killed Mr. Jingles. But more devastating than that, he purposefully left Dells sponged dry for his electric chair execution, leading to a hard-to-watch death sequence. In a satisfying turn of events, though, John Coffey, Michael Clark Duncan, infects Percy with the poison, causing him to kill a truly evil prisoner and getting himself locked away in an insane asylum. Vindication. Number 2. Chet Donnelly, Weird Science. Chet Donnelly is the main antagonist of the 1985 sci-fi comedy film Weird Science and its TV series of the same name. Chet is Wyatt's cruel older brother and a military school cadet. He mercilessly bullies Wyatt and best friend Gary Wallace. In the movie, he was portrayed by the late Bill Paxton, who also played Earl in Two Guns, Dad in Frailty, Severin in Near Dark, John Garrett on Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Randall McCoy in Hatfields and McCoys. In the TV series, he was portrayed by Lee Turgison, who portrayed Joe Owens in The Purge, Tobias Beecher in Oz, Dale Schrader in Criminal Minds, and George Piscatawferson in The Boondocks. Chet is the big brother no one ever asked for. It's almost like he gets off on pulling his rifle on his little geeky bro, Wyatt, extorting money out of him, and depleting his overall standard of living. If it weren't for the magically created Lisa, Kelly LeBrock, he'd only be a giant talking pile of crap on the inside. Now, go get me a greasy pork sandwich, served in a dirty ashtray. Number 1. Margot Chester, Christmas Vacation. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a 1989 film about the Griswold family's plans for a big family Christmas that predictably turn into a big disaster. It is the third installment in the National Lampoon Griswold saga. You gotta hand it to this early Julia Louise-Dreyfus character. She knows how to bring the passive-aggressive sass. Along with her husband, she's constantly giving the Griswolds grief about their light display, how big their Christmas tree is, and their family in general. But Clark is quick to assert it right back. More often than not, he ends up inadvertently making their day-to-day routines much more difficult, as we see when their Christmas lights interrupt their alone time. With that, we come to the end of today's video. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also press the bell icon to never miss another upload of the. Having said that, see you next time. Over and out.